What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Bearcat Den. It's Michael.
And Victoria, back again with your weekly sports podcast covering NBA, NFL, MLB, and any other sports leagues.
Let's jump right in. So, a little bit about MLB right now. We see that the Padres and the Dodgers have begun their season in South Korea, Seoul, I believe it's pronounced. But there is a massive issue going on with their superstar pitcher and hitter, I'd say. Shohei Ohtani. Not even 24 hours ago, Ohtani's interpreter
and good friend,
allegedly stole $4.5 million from Ohtani's bank account. And according to Tisha Thompson from ESPN, she said that it was wire transfers from his account to a bookmailing operation set off. So, the MLB has came out and said that they aren't doing an investigation on this whole situation. And what in the actual fuck is going on now? Honestly.
I mean, they've already changed the story a few times, because originally he was saying that Ohtani was helping him pay off his debts. And then he said that he had no idea of the payments at all. What's interesting in the MLB is the rule book, as I understand it, is you're allowed to place bets, just not on baseball or softball. But the bets have to be through a legal, obviously, but apparently not obviously for some. It has to be a legal booking. And what's interesting is the Dodgers are based in California. California hasn't, not yet to my knowledge, legalized sports betting.
Yeah, that's a big issue alone. Being in a state where you're not allowed to gamble, is that a federal crime, I believe? Or is it not?
I'm not sure.
Because I know that from what I see here in 2022 of November, they couldn't come to a decision about legalizing sports betting in California, and their proposal was declined. So where can Ohtani's interpreter be gambling from? Who is his bookie? And stuff like that. And how did it even get released? The wire transfers.
I don't know.
If Ohtani was helping him pay off his debt, good man, Ohtani is. And since the money's out of his hands, it's not his responsibility for what the money he uses it for.
Yeah, but in the MLB world, they're not gonna look at it technically gambling is gambling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sports betting, it's a very delicate balance with professional sports. So they're gonna trace it back to him regardless of his
statements.
Engagement, and whatever he says. Another thing too is it hasn't really been released. I mean, he's claiming he didn't bet on baseball.
Who, the interpreter?
And we don't know that. We also don't know what betting he did, because it's not legalized in California, but where is he betting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of loopholes. I wonder if that's why they're not even gonna bother investigating it.
I mean, I think they should alone because, one, it's illegal in the state that you're in completely.
Yeah.
Second thing is that your boss, I'd say, being Ohtani, is being questioned now about what the hell's going on here. That we see wire transfers of this massive amount of money going to the interpreter and for what, sports betting? So I think people are a little not confused, but raise the question of what if Ohtani is lying at this point and saying that he's betting.
Well, that's why I think they don't want to investigate, because they might find something out that they don't want. This is already a bad look for the team.
Agreed.
If they investigate it and it's you're involved, they're involved, and it gets deeper, then they dig a bigger hole. If it's now and it's a surface level, okay, is his interpreter, which is an important position, but it's not his coach, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something that would have a little bit more weight on the sports side of things. It can be brushed under the rug. It's hot news now, it might not be in a week. If they investigate it though and they find out things and make more connections, it would be worse for them.
I think that there will be, but it's not going to be announced to the public because it could cost the Dodgers and possibly the MLB
That's what I'm saying.
millions.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think the business decision they made is not to do it at all. But I feel like they'll kind of do something of their own and not release it to the public.
Yeah, to prevent it from happening again.
And if it does come out, it's going to be what? Well after he's retired, probably.
Exactly.
I feel like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he technically didn't do anything illegal if he...
I mean, I think this goes for all people who are organized with the team, I feel like, that are more connected to the team rather than, let's say, a marketing guy or a sales agent, I feel like.
Well, no employee is allowed to bet on baseball.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying on an MLB organization perspective, because there's been multiple pitchers and or players that had interpreters, and who knows if their interpreters gambled too. That's the whole thing. Like,
But why would your interpreter gamble? Specific.
Why would he gamble?
He says he has a gambling addiction.
But the thing is that why would it be brought up now? And not... Because I'm sure that there's been other cases on the situation, but I feel like this one hit media a lot harder. Like, let loose rather than swept under the rug. Wait, cash, assumingly. You get what I'm saying? I would like to say, I think as like an employee who's close with the team and affiliates with the team pretty often, I think you follow the player's contract, I feel like. And some rules and regulations indicate no gambling at all. Because I know NFL's is, I believe the NFL's is that you can gamble but not on NFL.
Yeah.
So there's some leniency there, but it says here on CBS that you can't gamble on any sport, and it violates the MLB rules. And this must not be the first time that Missouri, that it's came across the team's prior knowledge. Because they said that they were aware of the reports by the media. I feel like it would be more of a team investigation rather than a personal investigation.
Well, I think it has more to do with the bookmaker.
Yeah, but it's not the bookmaker's fault, though, in this scenario.
Yeah, but the bookmaker, from my understanding, like, was under federal investigation. Because it says that his home was raided last year.
Yeah, I understand.
A large gambling operation in the area, one that has even roped in former Dodgers player.
Oh, so this has been in California, the bookie. I'm thinking this whole time he was out of state, like, let's say, New York.
That's what I was thinking, too. That way he could get around the whole illegal thing.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, when you have $4.5 million wired out to a bookie, then obviously someone's going to investigate.
Especially when it's like, this bookie has been, like, associated with, like, the Dodgers before.
Players.
Mm-hmm. It says right here, like, roped in former Dodgers player. Yes, Ayul. So then that would explain a little bit more why this hit media the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
If they're, like, already investigating this. And it's already been linked to this team.
You know what it probably was? They were doing an investigation on the bookie, and they've seen wire transfers from Ohtani.
Yeah.
Interpreter. And then that's how it all got out. Look at us connecting the dots together.
Little detective work.
Something you don't see on this podcast pretty often.
No. But Bauer, the bookie, is claiming that he never had contact with Ohtani. So that would back up the idea that, like, he had no idea this was going on.
Yeah. So, I believe from my understanding that Missouri was in debt to this guy $4.5 million, and Ohtani was just being a good friend and helping him out pay off the debt.
Well, that was the first story he gave. Then he changed it and said Ohtani had no idea this was going on. And did the whole, like, tier works of like having a gambling addiction, and I didn't know this was illegal, blah 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 blah.
I don't understand. How don't you know it's illegal? You've been living in LA since 2017.
Well, he claimed that he's placed bets before with other people, so he assumed through Bauer it was legal, which doesn't make any sense when at the end of the day none of it is legal in California, like you're saying. So it doesn't really matter who you're using.
And plus, wouldn't you know from just conversation with people that it's not legal? You would probably ask somebody, like a local, that if it was legal or not, because that's what people do if they're not from an area they're not familiar with.
Well, yeah, it's the logical thing to do. When I moved to New York, obviously things are different in Florida, laws about things, including like sports betting. Like these, it's just the rational thing to do. To claim that you had no idea, like you live under a rock, doesn't make sense. And honestly, the Dodgers and Ohtani have not really made a lot of public statements about this, and you can't really blame them. Other than to say, like, your initial, like, I didn't know it was going on, what more is he really gonna say that's gonna, like, negate the consequences that are already gonna come from it?
But 6, almost 7 years, you don't know this already? That's still not wrapping around my head properly.
Yeah, like, do you not look at your statements at all? Like, I know people handle that for you, but do you not wonder where this money is going? That's the part I don't get. We're not talking about like a few hundred here and there.
We're talking about a couple of million.
Would you not realize that's missing and be like...
Yeah. Especially the way his deal like kind of worked out. Because most of the money from his contract is going to be back-ended to a point where it's after he's off the team. That's where the real heavy hitters kick in. But you're making a low income, right? Well, an MLB low income right now. I think it'd be a lot more noticeable than just like, oh.
That's what I'm saying.
And that is a wrap. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Bearcat Den. Make sure you tune in next week for more. See ya.